Hey, my bones, SilverDFanng here with more YouTube reactions. Moist Critical, they released the Epstein files. Kind of. So this is actually looking at two of his videos that came a couple of days apart. I just put them into one video because I feel like I don't want to make two videos out of this topic. It's important, it is needed, and I think you will enjoy Charlie talking about it. I did. Enjoy. Okay. So, this is Moist Critical. They actually released the Epstein files. I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Boy howdy, I can't believe it. The title is not clickbait. This is big. Color me blue and call me a smurf. I'm looking.
It's not clickbait, but it is not exactly what we were hoping for.
Looking real stupid right now because I've been quite the Scrooge bah humbugging, saying that it'll never happen. They'll never release the Epstein files. And look what happens. Random Friday evening, they drop these puppies. Oh, you know, the same Epstein files that the government also tried to say aren't real are actually a huge hoax and you're an idiot if you believe in them. They're like the Tooth Fairy or something. No such thing. Oh, well, here's those Epstein files that we said not long ago weren't real, by the way. Finally, all of the information on all of these evil pedophiles right here at our fingertips. We get one sentence and then pretty much everything else redacted. And this isn't...
So, there was, I believe, 120 pages. Most of them were completely redacted. And no, this is not normal. Redactions done by the government is usually only specific words or phrases that could put American troops or American people at harm. You can't do it just because you want to hide some disgusting acts or protect yourself. This is just the laziest bullshit, but this is the Trump presidency in a nutshell. Blatant corruption.
Some isolated incident where I'm cherry picking shit. The bulk of these files are heavily redacted and heavily doesn't even do it justice. It's so beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, it is redacted to a comical degree where it would be laughable if it wasn't just so blatantly evil. Like, look at the thumbnail here. You could close your eyes and see the same thing that these files show you, which is just nothing.
It's bad when mainstream TV brings this up, because mainstream news is some of them are very opinionated. Like Fox, everyone knows is super right wing. That's it. Everyone else is pretty much in the middle, trying to protect their bosses and the billionaire class. It's just different shades of, like, we're a little bit more left, we're a little bit more right. This pissed off so much people and was so blatant. Literally, one of them on CBS got his phone and literally just started scrolling all of these black pages. And for mainstream, that is bold, especially for CBS, which is now owned by right-wing pundits that are, like, very close to Trump. That's how bad and stupid this is.
Darkness. I always said if they do release it, it'll probably be heavily redacted. I didn't even expect it to be this extreme. This is crazy. They don't even let, like, a couple of, like, rogue words fly, like random, like the or and. It's all just blacked out.
It's lazy.
They released hundreds of pages of... It's unfucking believable.
Yeah, CBS earlier this year. So CBS is owned by Paramount. Paramount was bought by Skydance Media. Skydance Media is owned by the Ellis family. The Ellis family is mega MAGA. Super MAGA. Also, like, very close to Trump. So, yeah, CBS is very right-wing. They put in a person called Barry Weiss, who is New Age MAGA, which is they want to be seen as, like, centralists, but literally they're just grifters there to protect money.
Yeah, we've really got these evil pedophiles on the ropes now. Now that the most transparent administration in history has dropped these puppies fresh on our laps here. Look at this. Wow. We've really got them now. We've got them cornered. Surely they'll be held accountable with this out there.
Talk about blacking out. I don't know if I can get a close-up of my phone.
Oh, my bad. No, take away everything I said. I was wrong. It's not CBS. It was CNN. This is who I was talking about.
This is one of the documents that the Justice Department released. It's 100 pages.
Right,
This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. It's all black. It's just 100 pages of redacted.
CNN is more Democrat, but let's be fair. CNN also very much protects money. But this is something that CNN would definitely do.
That's the transparency we're getting here.
right, and I'll point to...
This is like the LaCroix of Epstein files, where it's the idea of the files themselves, not actually providing anything. Imagine scrolling through those 100 pages of just pure void emptiness. What the fuck? That is absurd. Now,
I don't know if Charlie at this moment, because he said this was Friday, not this Friday, but like last week Friday, and I'm definitely doxing this video. Not doxing, but timing it. I'm not going to say it, but there is an upside to these files being released.
it's not just these empty files that they plopped out there in the open. They did also provide a lot of new photos that show people like Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell, as well as like Chris Tucker, even Michael Jackson. Like there were
over 9,000 photos were released. Problem is with photos is it does show evidence, but it's not enough for legal. And they know that.
a large amount of photos that weren't previously public. And in those photos, there are individuals whose identity is redacted. They have like the giant black square over them. They've been censored. And I thought that was supposed to be for victims, you know? But according to what I read, this actually comes from Fox News. They said the Justice Department redacted the names and identifiers of victims. Fox News Digital has learned that the same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials. What the fuck? Why would those same redaction standards be applied to politically exposed individuals?
They shouldn't, and it's also illegal. You can't do that. It's, again, the most blatantly corrupt government. Also, Blue, so the thing about CNN is, they might also be bought by Skydance. CNN is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery right now, and Warner Brothers just is selling all of their properties because Zaslav is a disgusting man who doesn't care about entertainment. He only cares about the bottom dollar, and destroyed a legacy of Warner Brothers. So it's not financially well for him. Everyone hates his guts, so he's getting rid of Warner Brothers and keeping his Discovery that he ruined decades ago. Netflix is buying the Warner Brothers stock, but Skydance is interested in some of their other properties, one of them being CNN. So we're not out of the woods.
Individuals. That's like the most important individual to be exposed in these Epstein files. Why would that under any circumstances be suitable for redaction? That's fucking crazy. So like they can just be censored out like it's fucking Super Smash Bros. Melee when you're about to unlock a new fighter through like a challenge approaching you.
I get the reference.
That makes no sense. That should just be reserved solely for the victims here. I don't understand, if this is true, why they would be able to redact that kind of information on politically exposed individuals.
Let me tell you, Charlie, they aren't. It is 100% illegal. Put that on the list of Trump government does something fully illegal in the open and gets away with it.
Individuals. And it doesn't apply to all politically exposed individuals, clearly, because Bill Clinton is completely unmasked here. He is just like raw out in the open in these photos, as well as others, like I mentioned. So it was I guess there was exceptions for some of them. I'm not exactly sure how the ruling all worked. There's like a bunch of like nuance to it here. It's very confusing, but under no circumstances should there have been exceptions for these politically exposed individuals in the Epstein files and photos. That's really peculiar, and that really seems extremely corrupt because they should all be going to jail. Like, take, for example, Bill fucking Clinton here. This guy's like the Ronald McDonald to Jeffrey Epstein's empire of child sex trafficking. This guy is in so many photos with so much
I'm not gonna lie. He lost me on that one. I don't know the connection of Ronald McDonald in this analogy.
evidence to support how deeply involved he was as a client. We now have even more photos of him, and still nothing has happened to Bill Clinton. The only person with more photographs with Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell is Trump. And speaking of Trump, he is doing everything in his power to ensure Maxwell has the easiest time imaginable. Maxwell, the only person, by the way, who has ever faced even an iota of punishment for all of the innumerable, unthinkable, heinous crimes with Jeffrey Epstein's empire of child sex trafficking. The only person who faced even the slightest punishment, he has now ensured went from a prison to a fucking summer camp where she gets to, like, pet training service dogs now. And she lives luxuriously there. It's pretty weird. I think it's very odd that these...
Also extremely corrupt, because Maxwell is completely flipped every single one of her former opinions and is straight up just lied, being like Trump was never there.
Files are so heavily redacted. I think there's also a very good chance that the photos released were probably not the entire kit and caboodle.
Well, in past few hired Ronalds touched... Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know that some of the Ronald McDonald's actors that portrayed him were pedophiles. That makes sense. Also gross.
I would bet there were probably even more photos that we don't have access to and have probably been completely burned and buried somewhere that just don't exist anymore. That would be my guess. And if you're wondering about any new photos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein or Maxwell, there's not really anything new there, but he does appear in a few of these photos they released, like this one where there is a framed photo of him with Jeffrey Epstein and Melania in between, as well as this right here where you can see two different pictures of Trump in the drawer. So overall, no like new photos of them together, but there is a framed one and a couple in that drawer, so he did like to keep photos of Trump around of the two when they hung out. And it's hard to say if there's any new evidence there because there isn't anything new in the files themselves since it's all fucking redacted. So the only thing like new here are some of these photographs, which also are redacted. And while I thought it was supposed to be reserved solely for victims, it seems as though there is the potential that it was also used to hide politically exposed individuals. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed or not, but there is now a lot of hoopla saying that this doesn't comply with what was actually sought, and they are looking to pursue further action because they redacted so much that they weren't allowed to. So I guess we'll see how it all shakes out, but holy shit, I still cannot believe what they released here in the state that it is. I can't believe they thought this would go over well with literally anybody to release hundreds of pages of pure redactions. That's unbelievable. But as far as the new photos go, I don't see how that's not actionable to at least try and investigate further. In particular, someone like Bill Clinton, who's here constantly. This guy's popping up like it's Where's Waldo, but he's really easy to spot. I don't understand how, if all this information has existed for this long, and even in this administration that was denying its existence, why don't they do anything about what they have? I feel like it should warrant, at the very least, some further poking around to see what the fuck was happening here. Like, it just makes no sense to me until you start to realize that all of these people in power, this administration, the previous administration too, who also didn't release anything of substance when it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein case, still nobody's been punished. It's very clear when you realize that there are people on both sides of the political aisle here that are implicated, and should someone like Bill Clinton fall, there's a chance that many others do too that they don't want being exposed. I think that's probably why there's been so little action being taken.
Yeah, true.
It's just so fucking sick.
The truth of the matter is, we know that it's not just a Republican thing, it's a Republican thing, a Democrat thing, and we all just want them to fuck off. We want them to get legal action. And they know it. And they also know that, especially on the Democrat side, that they don't really have the the bullshit of Trump's Republicans that just like anything that happens to them just flies off. So yeah, no, they're worried about prison, and they should.
How blatant this corruption is just out in the open. And now with these documents they released, if you can even call them that, it's even more clear as day just how deep this rot goes. It's fucking absurd. Anyway, I had to yap about this a bit. That's it. See ya.
So, since he made this video, we learned something. So, one thing that we can rely on for the Trump administration is poor management and spotty work, which is good for us. A couple of tech experts figured out that what they did to redact them wasn't, they didn't delete the words under the black lines. So they went into the files and got rid of the layer that is just the black lines, and now we have all the information. There's so much information that I don't know anything that's come out of it yet, but yeah, so we do have the files. It's just a lot of work. Let me see, just so I'm not talking on my ass. Epstein files unredacted. Yeah, here we go. Since the U.S. government started releasing files about Jeffrey Epstein on Friday, Democratic, blah, 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 blah. But now some internet sleuths have figured out ways to uncover some of that information. Indeed, some sleuths have taken to social media to give step-by-step instructions on how it's done. You won't believe how I unredacted these redactions, wrote social media commenter Ed Krasinstein. Krasinstein and his twin brother Brian are regular critics of the Trump administration. I simply highlighted the text, copied it, and pasted it in a document. He later added how many other files are not really redacted. So yeah, to actually redact something, like the black lines are there as like to show that there was something, but they do delete it. All they did was just put like a spoiler tag over them. So if you copy, paste them, and get rid of that spoiler tag, you got the info. Doesn't work on all the redacted files, but the method involves a common copy-paste flaw found in some PDF documents. Josh Quitter, CEO and co-founder of the technology-focused website Decrypt, wrote in a recent article. This type of faulty redaction is known digital security error that has occurred in previous high-profile cases, allowing information to be easily retrieved. So some of it has been unredacted. Let's see. Can we see any of it? Or do we have to do it ourselves? Okay, no. Okay, there's a lot of bullshit. Anyway, you can find some of it now. Problem with that, Blue, is this became mainstream, and chances are the government probably already fixed the issue. So I hope not. I hope someone released it.
It's 5 a.m. I got a butt full of poop, but I...
Okay, so this is him talking about the update.
Cannot peel myself away from the computer to go take care of that business. I'm refusing nature's call. And it's not insomnia that's keeping me awake right now. We are in the middle of what I believe to be an actual big development here in the Epstein case.
Yeah.
Coffeezilla just made a video talking about this, as well as giving instructions on how you yourself can get your hands on this latest dump of documents that wasn't supposed to go out yet, but had been accessible to people savvy enough to get their hands on it, and now it's been disseminated. And these are some documents here that I imagine they were probably going to do a little bit more to hide some names and hide certain elements of, because, hooey, boy howdy, I imagine Trump and a lot of the elites are doing this right now. Yeesh. There is some...
Trump can't do that because if he tries to pull on his collar, he just grabs his neck fat, and then it just stretches more and makes him look more like a Stretch Armstrong that was out in the sun for 50 years.
Big stuff in here, and I'm not saying that sarcastically this time around. Yes, the vast majority is still like hundreds of pages of completely blacked out, redacted garbage, like it's completely useless, but some of them that they didn't get a chance to go through and just, you know, fucking banish to the shadow realm, has eye-opening stuff that directly contradicts a narrative.
Once again, they got lazy.
That the government's been running with for a while.
Here's what that looks like. It's volume 8 of the file.
Also, hi, Coffeezilla.
But you can see right now that they've only released 7 data sets. And so myself, the guys at Jmail, and the guys at DropSite, we've been investigating this. I've partnered with them to kind of look at some of these files. And they got access to volume 8 early. You would just type it in the URL. It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did.
Before anyone tries to cry foul questioning the authenticity of these documents here, this is the actual volume 8. They just made it accessible by pure accident because everyone that seems to be working at the highest level is actually like a thumb-sucking fucking brain-dead moron.
Shocker, when you hire people off of loyalty and not merit, a lot of shit's going to go wrong. Looking at you, head of the military that release war plans on Signal to a reporter.
Specifically, I want to draw your attention immediately to the 10 co-conspirators that are mentioned in some
of the 10 co-conspirators. We have been located in 3 have been located in Florida and served GJ's subpoenas. 1 in Boston, 1 in New York, and 1 in CT. Were located and served. 4 of the 10 are outstanding, with attempts have been made. 1 is a wealthy businessman in Ohio. A lead is being sent to DC. The remaining 3 are currently out of pocket. The team, 8SA, TFO, TAU, Zeus, is flying out tonight and tomorrow to various locations in Florida to interview approximately 25 victims. The 1-800 call FBI line is up and running. We have received approximately 45 calls when we are in the process of vetting out. Let me know if you need anything else. Sean. Damn, Sean.
of these emails in 2019. Now, this is just alarming stuff because prior to this, remember that all we really had was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the only people who have ever faced any charges at all. Ghislaine Maxwell, the only one who actually faced consequences, right? But in 2019...
I mean, he didn't get the consequences we wanted, but he is dead.
Apparently, there were 10 co-conspirators. Now, the people who were sending this to and from have been blacked out, but at the bottom we see that this is the Violent Crime Section, Crimes Against Human Trafficking Unit.
That is huge information.
I'll be honest. It must be really awkward to tell people when you go to a party, hi, I'm a member of the Child Trafficking Unit. No, we don't traffic children. We fight people who traffic children. It feels like it's just a lot of awkward sentences like, no, wait. I know it's a weird sentence, but hear me out.
Especially when you consider clowns like Kash Patel saying that there's no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking victims to others or anything like that.
What a dipshit.
Making it seem like it was a solo operation and Ghislaine Maxwell, you know, was second fiddle and that's it. And also, Maxwell, worth remembering, isn't exactly facing the harshest of punishment. Not real justice there now that she's at a summer camp prison for a little bit, petting service animals.
By the way, Blue, this is for you. That summer camp prison, guess where it is? Guess where the low maintenance prison for pretty much billionaires and people who are corrupt enough to get it, where they can pet dogs, have free time, even leave if they're allowed. Yep. Good old Texas.
So, I want to also make a side note. Kash Patel needs to be in jail. Like, he literally needs to be arrested. I don't know why perjury isn't something that's taken seriously anymore. There is irrefutable evidence. Kash Patel has lied on record about this case. It's crazy.
There's several. Yeah, there's several rich people prisons. It's like low maintenance prisons, but it's usually for white collar crimes, which is rich people. Nope, they exist. And one of the most famous ones is in Texas, where literally they can leave with a permission card from the warden. And they get, like, dog sessions where they can, like, be therapeutically returned to society through dogs.
See, that he just gets to do that with pure immunity. But I won't start shitting and spitting about that too hard right now. The important thing about this piece that Coffeezilla is highlighting is that we now have information that confirms that authorities were looking into other co-conspirators in this operation.
And we heard nothing about this.
They must have dropped the leads at some point. They stopped sniffing around, said not worth pursuing. But at one point, they did have other co-conspirators and apparently quite a bit of information on them, as the documents seem to hint at and reveal and talk around. So, what the fuck happened, and why are they now pretending?
I have two theories. One, as you saw, that was 2019. That was during the first term for Trump, and probably when it got to a Trump loyalist, it got shut down. Or COVID.
That there aren't co-conspirators when we now
Welcome, K-Theatable Queen.
Hi, Kai. This is the Epstein files. We saw Moist Critikal talking about the redactions, and now it's talking about how internet sleuths were able to actually redact some of the files and some of the info that we learned.
hard proof that there was and that they were pursuing for however brief a time.
And additionally, some of the details on this are revealed later because we see this subject line. It says co-conspirators at the top. And it says, blank does not need to head out. We made contact with blank last night in New York City. Blank last night in New York. Contact was made with blank, blank, and blank. By the way, I love how these potential co-conspirators are people who are being blacked out. Like, why?
Again, that's not that shouldn't be legal. If you're a co-conspirator, you shouldn't be blanked out.
I thought the whole point of this was you couldn't redact people for personal information reasons or for public embarrassment. You could only redact on the basis of it being a victim. And I'm not sure how these people could possibly be victims here.
Epstein Files Transparency Act prohibits redactions, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
90%.
Positively not.
Liar, liar,
90%.
plans for hire. His nose about to grow fucking 5 feet with that big old fib. This is inarguable that they are redacting names of people that aren't victims here. As Coffeezilla points out, these are co-conspirators.
You're not
wrong,
The
evidence is overwhelming.
The donors aren't fully evil, but again, they're not victims. And that's the big wording, is they can't be redacted for embarrassment, which the donors, I would see embarrassment and not like legal action, but they're not victims.
There's no wiggle room here. No way to weasel out some kind of explanation for why these would be justifiably censored and blacked out and redacted. These are clearly not victims. This is about the co-conspirators. So there should be no exceptions made. Their names should be revealed here in these documents, but they're not. It's been redacted. Why? Who are they covering up for? And why? This is illegal. You
hydrate, bud.
do that. And this is inarguably them redacting names of people that are not victims. It's craziness, and it's so blatant. It's right in your face. Like, the proof is in the pudding, and yet I know people are going to deny it still. It's fucking unhinged.
Yep.
There is no world where you can spin a narrative here where these redactions in these places make sense, because there's no way that what they're talking about right there can possibly be minors or victims. These are co-conspirators that are being protected. That's fucking insanity.
But anyways, you can see that it says attempts were made to Blank and Brunel. That's Jean-Luc Brunel, the famous who's now dead. Blank is confirmed to live in New York, was away for the holiday weekend. We did not have a good address, but an attempt was made in New York. Attempts are made to Maxwell today. Blank, you get it. Like, it's all the people they suspected this whole time are redacted, of course. And they say, I do not know about Ohio contacting Wexner. Now, that's a reference to Les Wexner, the former CEO of Victoria's Secret. This is huge. We've long suspected that he was, of course, one of the co-conspirators. And obviously, the fact the FBI suspected it isn't.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, Epstein technically was a financial advisor. That was his technical job. But no one really knew his full client list, except there was a couple that he was legally hired by, and one of them was Victoria's Secret Wexler. So, makes sense.
A 100% proof confirmation, but clearly they were serving grand jury subpoenas. I mean, that must be who they're talking about, one wealthy businessman in Ohio, because later it's confirmed by this whole idea of Ohio contacting Wexner.
Even though most of the names are redacted, it's not all of them. So Wexner's name appears here, as well as Brunel, but as Coffeezilla mentioned, he's dead. He's already burning in hell right now. But Wexner, this was someone that they grand jury subpoenaed, seemingly, and I don't think I've heard a peep about any kind of consequences or justice being served over there, or any kind of like pursuit on analyzing his connections here to all of this, even though he is here in one of the emails here about being a co-conspirator. What happened there? The well ran dry or something? Like, it turns out he was completely innocent? That seems kind of hard to believe. That'd be a surprising, shocking twist, more so than a fucking Darman video. I don't know about that. That seems a little fishy. And again, why are other names here blacked out? Why are co-conspirators being protected? Why aren't their identities being revealed? Food for thought.
And you can see at the bottom, this is from the FBI New York. When you get a chance, give me an update on the status of the 10 co-conspirators. This is really bad to know that we knew as early as 2019 the right people to target, and yet our FBI, who's had evidence of this the entire time, or leads on it, has declined to prosecute, right? Because this is what the FBI now tells us. Oh, don't bother. Don't worry about it. That's what they wanted us to believe in July. Fast forward to December, we find out there's 10 guys that they knew about since like 6 years ago.
Hey, some of them could be women. Both men and women could be discussing pedophile sex ring operators. Equal rights.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is insane, because their position has been like, oh, there was nothing actionable in there, so, stop asking us. Just pipe down. We're busy covering shit up. Stop asking questions, has basically been the philosophy. Our hands are tied. There was nothing. It's all a hoax. Actually, no, the files are on Pam Bondi's desk. No, the files don't exist. It's all a hoax. Wait, actually, here's a ton of fucking files. Nothing's actionable, though. And according to Kash Patel, it was just Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody else. Why? It doesn't go deeper than that. That's it. Case closed.
And stop making fun of my country singer girlfriend. She is a icon. Do you guys know about the whole Patel bullshit? And like, every time someone like attacks him, he brings up his fucking girlfriend, which like definitely there's some manipulation of money there. It's the stupidest shit. It really is the reality TV presidency.
It's a fucking mess. It's a complete circus. And now that we have this kind of information out there, it's even more sickening to know that they are just blatantly protecting these pedophiles, these evil, evil people that engaged in unthinkably heinous actions. They are still getting away with it. And they know, and have known since 2019 apparently, that there are others out there, still at large, and are just not doing anything about it, and would instead rather lie saying, oh, there's nothing actionable or anything. Yeah, there was really nothing in there at all. In fact, it was all make-believe. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was never real in the first place. Jeffrey Epstein was the friends made along the way.
Jeffrey Epstein is the Babadook. He only reveals himself if you think about him.
What are you guys talking about? It's so absurd. It is downright diabolical. The corruption is so blatant. It is.
Okay. Oh, okay. After this, I'll show a quick thing. It is the funniest, most manipulative, corrupt shit.
Right in your face. And even when we are getting drip-fed the tiniest tiddlywinks of information about this case that have been heavily redacted.
Also, I gotta do this because I'm me. Sorry again for the scratchy voice. I think I might be getting sick.
Mind you, we are still seeing
Incoming
just how
at break.
depraved this is. There is so much evidence that they can't even sweep it all under the rug. We are still finding just how bad this is. Now, just imagine what they're keeping from you and covering up, and what they've already probably burned and fucking snapped out of existence. And imagine if they actually did follow the rules here and only redact victim information. Just imagine how many people we could point to as blatantly corrupt and needing to be thrown in jail. For the last 6 years, having this kind of information and not acting on it. And to this day, having so many people in the highest levels of government denying its existence and trying to pretend that it's all fucking phony baloney, make-believe, dirty barnacles, horseradish, it's a hoax, it's not real, that kind of thing. Can you imagine if this information did actually properly release with only victims' information redacted?
Even over here, we see that in one of the lawsuits, I believe this is with Maxwell, the government actually wanted to refer to people at trial as co-conspirators of the defendant, aka Maxwell, for the purposes of a rule. And then they say Jeffrey Epstein, and then there are two names listed there who are going to be listed as co-conspirators. Again, who are those people? We were told that the only co-conspirator now is Maxwell, and if you don't believe that, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. But back in 2020, this was a idea not just promulgated by wackos, it was promulgated by who? The FBI themselves, the Department of Justice. Look at this. Co-conspirator question transcript. This is from USA NYS. They say, question, when Jeffrey Epstein died, a lot of people asked, who's next? Is the government going to hold people who are accused of helping him recruit these girls? Are they going to hold them accountable? And then the answer is, well, I'll note that the original charges against Jeffrey Epstein contained a conspiracy charge, and we allege that there were conspirators involved. Jeffrey Epstein couldn't have done what he did without the assistance of others. And I can assure you that our investigation is moving forward, except I guess not.
Yeah, that investigation hit a brick wall. That investigation went off the tracks and fell into a fucking nitroglycerin facility and just blew up, because that shit has not been pursued clearly.
Yep.
As Coffeezilla mentions, this idea of there being more than just Epstein and Maxwell, the highest level of authority has been saying, you're crazy if you believe that, you are falling for, nonsense fairy tale garbage. But even the FBI years ago was saying the same things internally here. And even agreeing that it couldn't have been done alone. They were even
not only does he have a claw machine, the claw machine is filled with his own plushies.
All other people associated with this, co-conspirators, information redacted on those names there, but they knew certain individuals to target for this, that they were going to be...
And blue, yeah. The FBI was very much purged of anyone that was anti-Trump. It's gross.
Looking into with the investigation and assuring them that the investigation is moving forward on these co-conspirators, and then it doesn't. Why did it magically stop? What happened? What changed? And why, if all of this information is still at the government's fingertips, do they continue to lie and pretend as though it doesn't exist and that there's nothing here at all that the public didn't already know? They've already given out justice by sending Maxwell to a summer camp. That's all they can do. That's the only power they can muster here.
What's even more concerning is our president also seems concerned with the wrong people.
The victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, you know, but I think it's terrible. Look.
What the fuck are you talking about, you raisin of a man?
I don't like I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along.
Oh, we know how kind he is. We know how much Bubba loves you.
Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So,
no, we're asking for a lot more. We're not asking. We don't give a shit. Fuck Bill Clinton, which you probably have. We don't care. We just want anyone involved to see crimes. Stop playing it as a Democrat-Republican thing. It is you and your disgusting billionaire corrupted friends.
Even their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago.
Oh my God, you disgusting freak. We all know you're talking about yourself.
Many years ago.
What an interesting perspective. That is a fascinating thing for him to harp on so much about, like, well, we got to think about all the innocent people that met with Jeffrey Epstein. You know, that's what we should be focusing on, and how damaging and how traumatizing this must be for them, those innocent people that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, you know, all the lawyers and bankers and all of them. Heart breaks for them. Bill Clinton, I can't believe he got wrapped up in this. Love that guy. This is a crazy set of circumstances. He's a big boy, though. Side note, Bill Clinton apparently just put out a statement this afternoon saying release the...
Guy, he's not even trying anymore. Now he's just being mean to reporters and just calling them fat or piggies. Oh, so many. So many. It's probably even more than 7.
The entirety of the files. So Bill Clinton's like, just do it, pussy. That was a crazy plot twist.
Good on you, Bill. I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming.
Certainly didn't expect, because I can't imagine a world where Bill Clinton isn't also wrapped up in this shit. I think that guy is beyond guilty. I bet he had a whole fucking lodge named after him on Epstein's Island. Like, I find it hard to believe.
The Bubba Shack.
That somehow he'd walk out of this squeaky clean. Sounds like mutually assured destruction here, and Bill Clinton's just throwing his meat on the table, challenging him to do so. And I guess we'll see how it all shakes out from there. The thing is that Coffeezilla is pointing out, Trump's focus is more about, like, there's innocent people here. We have to keep in mind, think of the innocent multi-millionaire and billionaires that didn't know Jeffrey Epstein for all the bad stuff. They just knew him for cracking jokes and stuff, and, you know, just being a guy, just being one of the dudes.
Epstein, from the second that he became relevant, was doing corrupt shit. Everyone knows this. There has been files, there has been reports, there's literally been interviews saying that Epstein is just the well, not the pedophile, but the man that can get you things.
Just, like, why is that what you're focusing on? Why wouldn't you instead be focusing on trying to catch all of the people that have just completely been swept under the rug? Why would that not be the focus? Why instead would you be pretending none of this is real, it's all a hoax? That's very peculiar. I think that's pretty concerning. And when you do have an opportunity to release the files, why are they so heavily redacted with hundreds and hundreds of pages completely blacked out? That looks very guilty. That looks like a really big admission of guilt.
Now, I'll be honest, he gets off track from here, but the point he was making is that those poor, innocent, bankers who were meeting with Epstein, the poor lawyers who were meeting with Epstein, like all of Epstein's friends are just caught up in this unfortunate thing. And it's just such a reversal of what previously the DOJ and FBI believed. In fact, they believed it so much that they got a federal search warrant for the SDNY, and they got it, and part of the seizable data, part of the stuff that they commanded them to seize as part of the search warrant, and part of it says evidence concerning the identity or location of co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein, including Blank and Ghislaine Maxwell. So again, who is Blank? Well, they keep redacting the names of these co-conspirators uncharged, remember, and now they're saying we have no evidence to charge anybody. Clearly, they had evidence for a search warrant, and it's just completely ridiculous that some of this stuff is redacted and that we're viewing the rich and powerful people who are mentioned as the victims here.
Once again, just further evidence that they are indeed scrubbing the name of co-conspirators. These are not victims or minors that they are taking the names out of here. Thus, they are breaking the rules of how this is supposed to go. It is blatant, this cover-up. There is no world where that is somehow a victim there, yet their name has been redacted. Why? Why are they hiding the co-conspirators' identities? It's fucking outrageous. And people should be very
You're
mad
probably
about
right,
this.
Blue, but I like just saying
I
Trump,
have no
Trump,
doubt.
Trump.
Again, it's 5 a.m. right now, so I haven't seen like the full response to all of this now being out there, but I know there's going to be people that are butt chugging the Kool-Aid to such an unbelievable degree that the delusion has fully
Butt chugging the Kool-Aid. That is a sentence I never thought I would hear.
taken hold, that they're going to go through these mental gymnastics to explain why actually there's nothing fishy going on here. This is totally normal. They did everything by the book, and you're...
So, I'm going to say what Kai just said. We already know Trump is a hypocrite. The issue is that he's turning into a toddler with a knife and no one knows how to properly take it away from him. The problem is, there's also a bunch of, like, relatives of the knife-wielding toddler. I don't actually mean his family. I mean, like the Project 2025 people and, like, Silicon Valley bullshit that are like, well, he's not swinging his knife at us, and we are making a lot of money off of the toddler. Keep swinging that knife, baby.
Making a mountain out of a molehill. Clearly the most transparent administration in American history at work here, obviously. Which just, again, you have so much evidence to prove that this is not by the book here. This is indeed a co-conspirator's name, and many other examples of co-conspirators' names being redacted. Not victims, not minors. Unless they're trying to say
the
that
toddler's classmates.
These names here are victims. These people that are potentially co-conspirators of Epstein, they're also victims. And in that case, you need to be institutionalized ASAP if that's what you think. That is a fucking crazy take. But I guess it's not the most outrageous thing to picture someone believing when you have someone like Trump who continues to just drive that point home, where it seems like he's not even really focused on the actual victims of Epstein and all of his clients. He's instead more focused on, like, oh, the innocent guys, we used to, just go watch the ball game together with Jeffrey Epstein. They had no idea, and my heart breaks for them. Oh, Bill Clinton playing his song on my world's smallest violin. Like, he's just constantly bringing up, like, oh, so many innocent people. They're getting wrapped up in all this Epstein hoopla. I can't believe we're still talking about it. You're a bad person if you're talking about it, which is something he did say, by the way, not too...
It is, again, toddler, you're being mean to me and my friends, the pedo gang.
long ago. I highly recommend you go check out the rest of Coffeezilla's video. He also gives you the tutorial on how you can get your hands on these files as well to check them all for yourself. Now, after combing through them, there were some other big eyebrow-raising moments. One of them, Coffeezilla also tweeted out. This is from a U.S. attorney who wrote in 2020, Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported or that we were aware, including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. And then it concludes with, on 2 other flights, 2 of the passengers, respectively, were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. We've just finished reviewing the full records, more than 100 pages of very small script, and didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road. I noticed Trump's name in quite a few documents in this most recent volume. This has been one that is obviously pretty interesting because it's talking about his frequent flyer miles that he was accumulating with old Epstein Airlines, about how he had flown on the airlines far more than they had thought at the time. Now, whether that's before or after all the flight logs, which does show Trump flying on the planes quite a bit, I don't know. Maybe there's more that weren't on the flight logs. I'm not sure. Again, all of this is still brand new.
Most of these big organizations are wielded by 70-year-old geriatrics that don't understand the internet, Kai.
And I guess as more gets combed through, we'll get more and more information. But like I said, I have been glued to this for hours now, and I really just wanted to yap about it because there is some crazy shit in here. This is finally, for the first time in a long time, big new information in regards to this case and people involved in it, and exposing a blatant cover-up of very important information from these files. Now, it's very late in the evening, and all of this is still very fresh. I have no doubt there will be a lot more that comes from this, so I'm just going to try and keep my finger on the pulse of it. I already have no doubt there will be a large number of people that'll plug their ears to it and downplay the significance. I already saw a crazy tweet from some psychopath named Mila. I have no idea who this troglodyte is, but they are now already singing a different tune about why does anyone care about the Epstein files, which is something that was previously tried. Now, in the wake of all of this, it's being dusted off to try again. I truly hope there won't come a time where people start to say that this isn't a big deal, that this isn't something people should care about. This is a massive deal, and everyone should care about this because it implicates the people that
in charge
control your life. The people in the highest level of power in this country that are actively
want to fuck your niece,
making decisions on your life and how everything unfolds in this country. And if the people that are in these positions are these evil pedophiles that have been getting away with these crimes, then there's a huge problem there. They need to be held accountable and face justice.
Amen,
You shouldn't want to be ruled and controlled by people that were Epstein clients. Like, I don't know how insane people have become recently, where now they are...
It's not insane, it's stupidity. Sadly, the American education system has failed most of you, and then a lot of you are struggling to live your day-to-day lives, so you can't be bothered to deal with this disgusting shit, and they get away with it, and they get elected because some people think Biden is the only reason that groceries are going up, and for some reason Trump will save you.
With a straight face trying to say that Epstein isn't something you should care about, get over it. That blows my mind. Mila Joy, I suppose, gets her joy from the suffering of children and does so with a big smile on her face. She doesn't care that children were being trafficked and raped by potentially the most powerful people in this country. She doesn't care. She doesn't want them unmasked or thrown in jail. She couldn't care less about that. That's pretty fucking unhinged, Mila. All I can do is cross my fingers and hope and pray that there's not a ton of people with a poisoned, smooth brain like she.
You're right, Kai, but no one was looking back that far because we live in an era where most people just go by feeling and vibes, and it felt worse right now. It's the goldfish brain era. Nothing that happened 4 years ago sticks in their brains. They only care about what's happening to them right now.
I am hoping there's sensible people out there that are seeing all of this unfold in real time and finally having that come to Jesus moment, that eureka moment of, wow, there's something very, very bad afoot here. But anyway, I'll stop yapping about it for now. I guess we'll see what else comes from Volume 8 here of the Epstein files. Huge hats off to everyone that played a role in helping preserve that initial dump of these files, because I have a sneaking suspicion when these are officially released, when they pop up again, they might not be in the same state. I'm thinking there might be further redactions to them. It's just a hunch. I guess we'll see. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of this, but I do think it's important.
I was going to wait a...
Okay, we're not watching a third one. I believe you, but I can't do 3 in a row. But yeah, no, I believe it's important to look at, but yeah, I like to mix it around. Okay. Let me see. Kash Patel and girlfriend. What's a good one? So let's look at a couple of these shorts. So Kash is abusing FBI funds for his country singer girlfriend.
Where's her ring?
who's also like 27 years younger than him.
It's definitely coming, so I wouldn't worry about it.
FBI Director Kash Patel is facing backlash for the timing of the release of an interview with conservative political advisor Katie Miller, the wife of White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller.
Do you think certain attacks on you...
By the way, Stephen Miller might be the most disgusting man in the Trump administration, and that's saying something.
...you or your relationship affect your...
That's a good question. Kash Patel girlfriend age. Okay, she's 27 and he's 45, so an 18-year age gap.
Your work.
This nonsense about, oh, you're taking a private jet. We're taking the FBI plane because Congress 20 years ago said FBI directors are not allowed to take commercial air travel, ever.
Some have said Patel's...
Your relatives are not allowed to be on there. And also, you're not supposed to use the FBI jet for vacation.
chummy tone amid an ongoing FBI manhunt for the Brown University mass shooter was out of...
That's right. All this is going on when the Brown University shooter is still at large. It's fucking ridiculous.
Among the critics is California Governor Gavin Newsom, who wrote, "Good to know he's got time to hop on a taxpayer-funded private jet to record a podcast with his girlfriend."
Right now, in the middle of this massive crisis that his people are working, you're forcing them, expecting them to work 24 hours a day for days and days on end. To be appearing like this, talking about your personal life, it's really a dispiriting message to the troops.
According to Miller, the interview was conducted before the December 13th shooting.
That was a lie. We learned that it was a lie.
Where's her ring?
It's definitely...
Okay. Let's see if we can get a little bit more.
So we've got an MS Now exclusive. It turns out FBI Director Kash Patel's country singer girlfriend is getting a taxpayer-funded security detail. Sources tell my colleague Carol Lenig and I that agents from the FBI's SWAT unit in Nashville have been assigned to protect Alexis Wilkins, Patel's 27-year-old partner. She lives in Nashville. Experts say this is unprecedented. People familiar with FBI
It's also
security
illegal.
say the girlfriends of top officials have never received government staff security details.
Yeah.
One former agent
No, Kai, you're right. To me, a podcast from high officials should not exist. We live in the podcast era. Half of them either are regular guests on podcasts or own their own podcast. It's fucking gross and insane.
A clear abuse of position and a misuse of government resources. Now, the FBI didn't respond when I asked them for comment, but the Bureau told other news organizations in a statement that Wilkins has the detail because she's been getting credible death threats. Still, we're told that agents in Nashville are concerned that if the SWAT team there gets a call, it won't be fully staffed. All this is happening, of course, as Patel is under fire for other questionable uses of taxpayer resources. Last month, for example, he flew on the FBI's $60 million government Gulfstream jet for what critics called a date night.
Yep.
To see Wilkins perform the national anthem at a wrestling event in Pennsylvania. The Wall Street Journal also reported, and we confirmed, that Patel flew on the jet to a luxury hunting retreat in Texas called the Boondoggle Ranch. Now, the FBI director is required by policy to fly on FBI jets when he travels. But the question of how many personal trips he takes comes down to judgment.
Yeah, that's the thing. The FBI head chief or whatever tends not to go on so much vacation because his job is very taxing.
And exactly how he feels about using taxpayer resources for his own amusement. So we've got an MS Now exclusive.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the head of the FBI and the bullshit he's getting involved in during massive shootings and just like complete bullshit. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Check me out on Twitch, SilverDFanng, 2 N's in Fang. Check me out on Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. Also TikTok. Have a great night.